Welcome to another episode of Max's Muscle TV podcast. I am your host, Scott Goble. I'm joined once again by my co-host and good friend, Mr. Luke Schembri. Welcome, Luke.
Scotty.
And we are joined by one of the big up-and-comers in the Aussie bodybuilding amateur scene. He already has a state title and a national title to his name. We're very, very happy to be joined by Mr. Jayke Corich today. How are you, Jake?
Going well, Scotty. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's a pleasure.
It is a pleasure to have you here, mates. You did take out your first ever bodybuilding show, did you not? A junior state title. And then you follow it up with a national state title. Was that season A, 2024?
That was 2023, season C.
Season C, 2023.
B back then.
Yes. So, all right. So you've had a 2-year off season and you are back bigger and better, and you are no longer eligible for the juniors, I assume?
No, not anymore. 24 now.
All right. Well, mate, you've joined a host of pretty big names to have taken out a junior national title. Like, it's generally a pretty good stepping stone to great things. But you have refocused to the classic division, have you not? Is that all that you're entering this year, or are you going to throw your hat in the ring in the bodybuilding as well?
At the Perth show, I will be doing bodybuilding. I like bodybuilding poses, and it's fun. But the main focus is definitely classic. I think I suit that criteria a little bit better right now. I don't have the size that the open guys do, but I feel like my package at the moment is pretty classic and fits the criteria relatively well, and the posing and all of those things that go into it, I enjoy as well. So that's the main focus at the moment.
And you did have some success in your first season in the classic division, did you not? Can you tell us, I can't remember the placings off the top of my head, but I think you actually got an open placing at nationals. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the state show, I came 4th in the opens in classic, and then won the junior bodybuilding, and then 2nd in novice and first timers to Geordie from Melbourne, one of the boys on the other podcast. And then at nationals, I won junior bodybuilding, and then I was 5th or 6th overall. I came 2nd in my class in the open.
You were 4th, mate. You're 4th. If you're not top 3 and they didn't announce your placing, you're always 4th. It's a rule that Luke and I have established. So we'll just go with 4th there.
If you've said it, then I will take it, Scott.
Cool. Yeah. And in the open, sorry, mate, I talked over there. Were you 2nd or 3rd behind Geordie? And did Jeremy Wilson in that as well?
That season, it was Dashy who won the tall class, Geordie who won my class, and then Tom who won the short class. And so I was one spot off being in the overall for my first show.
Crazy, mate, crazy. So are you stepping on stage significantly larger this time around? Were you close to the cap back then? Because I know, I do believe it's been a struggle for you to get to the weight cap this time around.
Yeah, it has been a little bit more of a struggle this time. Last prep, my lowest weigh-in of prep was on show day, which was 90.9, and my weight cap is 98.4, which I am sitting at now. So I'm pretty much at the cap. Well, I am at the cap, a little bit over right now because we had a little trial load over this last couple of days. But yeah, pretty much at the cap now, significantly bigger, significantly leaner, significantly better. So productive off season. It was pretty good.
How do you take those early wins and do you use it as motivation, or there's a bit of a risk that you can let a bit of complacency slip in once you've had a win because you can think, oh, I've done that before. But for some people, they find it, extremely motivating and just wanting to push harder. If you've put on that much weight in the off season, it certainly sounds like you've found some motivation. But how did you find those early wins just from a mindset point of view?
For me personally, I didn't really appreciate them as much as I probably should have. I wasn't entirely happy with how my prep went. I cheated on my diet a couple times. I wasn't fully committed. So I didn't really feel like I won fully. in myself. So this whole prep this time and the whole off season last time was really just to prove to myself, can you really be a fucking bodybuilder? Like, if you can, prove it and see what happens next time you get on stage. And over the last 18 months of off season and the last 6 months of prep, I feel like I've really taken that lifestyle on board rather than being 1 foot in, 1 foot out like I was for the 10 years prior. So yeah.
And did you find that the motivation was internal, like you said, that you want to do your best, or do you feel a bit of pressure? If you've had some wins, people are looking at you, you've got a bit of attention. It certainly puts the spotlight on you a bit more. Did you feel that sort of increase in attention?
Yeah, definitely. Because I've been training and stuff for so long as well, you're always known as that guy locally, like you're the Jake the big guy, Jake the bodybuilder, blah, blah, blah. That was even before I even competed. And you already have that external pressure put on you from the first show. And then you end up doing good, but you only half-assed it. And now the pressure's even more because now I'm actually trying. And yeah, there's more attention and more eyes on me now, I guess, which is cool. But I just try to stay in my lane and just do what I like to do, and that's just train, eat, sleep, and fucking bodybuild. I love it.
And apart from the crazy scale weight change, are you really happy with this prep? Like, has it gone according to plan? Has there been any obstacles?
Man, this entire prep has gone so much better than my previous prep, for one. So it's a massive win in that regard, mentally, physically, emotionally. And I think over that off-season period of time, really putting an emphasis on actually trying to be a better person and just grow as an individual has helped this prep so much more, and actually being committed to the lifestyle and enjoying the entire lifestyle, embracing the shit parts of it, embracing the parts where you feel horrible, and just getting it done regardless. Yeah, I feel like it's just helped this prep so much more, just being more involved in bodybuilding and just loving it for what it is and not trying to just focus on an outcome.
Now, Jake, you work with Tom Stanley now, and he works with Dean McKillop, who I have immense admiration for. I think he's the best bodybuilding coach in the country by a long shot, and I would suggest he's probably one of the best coaches in the world. And one of the reasons for that is that he seems to keep his clients engaged year-round and working towards their current goal. And he works with people for a very long time, which means that he's very good at maintaining that that level of motivation and commitment. Do you think Tom's passed on some of his wisdom from Dean to you? Has he done any mindset work for you to get you on track and keep you so focused throughout the off-season? Because it has been a long time between shows, and sometimes it is easy to just, stray a little bit here or there, speaking from personal experience. So, yeah, has Tom helped you in any way with that?
Absolutely. That's probably been the biggest shift over everything, like as a coach, what really is that much different? We're all doing the same training, we're all doing the same diet for the most part, but it's how you connect with the coach and how they can actually grow you as an athlete that I think is the most important part. And Tom, as a coach, is amazing, extremely knowledgeable, knows his stuff. Dean has, passed on a lot of great information to him. They regularly talk. He learns lots of stuff all the time, and he's constantly improving as a coach. As a friend outside of the coaching, that has already been a massive aspect as well, because we've known each other for probably like a decade. He was a PT at the first gym that I started training at, and then full circle ended up being my bodybuilding coach now. But I remember the first onboarding call that we had when I decided, okay, I'm gonna go with Tom. He obviously knows me. He knows I've been 1 foot in, 1 foot out, putting in 70%, and you get to where you get to because of genetics and training hard and whatever. But he really emphasized to me that it's either full-time bodybuilder time or fucking go do something else. Like, if you want to be good, it's time for you to take it seriously and take it to that next level, because you're not going to get to where you actually want to go if you're going to continue on this same track. And that was the first call that we had. And that one thing is no more part-time bodybuilder stuck in my head the entire off season. Every week, it was just in my head. I could just remember it all the time. It's still in my head. It's just, everything is just, make sure you're doing what you need to be doing. And yeah, and just taking out the 100% or nothing mindset as well has been a huge aspect of my growth in terms of adhering to a plan and sticking to things for a long period of time. That has also been a big shift that he's taught me as well.
So in that off season, Jake, I mean, obviously you've been pretty bang on point. So what you're talking about, you're talking tracking year round. Like, is there much flexibility? Is there leniency within the plan? Because obviously it needs to be somewhat sustainable and fun. And you're a young bloke, and normally the social requirements on a young guy like yourself are a little bit more than someone like me who just stays at home with the family. So do you find it hard to incorporate a social life into, you know, the bodybuilding plan, or do you make allowances for that?
Yeah, definitely during the off season, I certainly do. When you get to that kind of point where your food's at a high enough point where it doesn't really matter if you're going out to one or two meals out a night, not a night, a week. You have a little bit of extra ice cream. You fucking have a Magnum or some shit on the weekend. It doesn't matter. Just train harder. Do a little bit extra steps the next day. Whatever. It's just being 95% on point rather than 70. You know, that was the biggest thing for me, is just that 5% where you does it really matter? No. Okay, don't stress about it and move on. I think that was the biggest part in the off season, of being able to still be flexible but still make progress. And yeah, I was on a meal plan for 90% of my off season, I would say.
And for everyone at home, can you give us some insight into what sort of off-season calorie and macro targets you've been running? Is it extremely high? And is there a big shift into the contest prep? Is there that transition where, all right, it's not just that I'm going to be more strict with my approach, but there is some genuine calorie cutbacks coming through?
Yeah, for sure. The peak of my off season, I think we only probably got to maybe 4,700 calories this time. It really wasn't anything too extreme. I pushed up further than that previously, and it's just not needed all the time. And compared to my lowest point in prep, I think the lowest my calories have gone maybe like 1,900 on my low days. So it's not horrible. It's definitely still manageable.
And is there a transition in training? Do you find in the off season, you're aiming for heavier weights and maybe increased intensity, lower volume, and it sort of flips a little bit on its head? Or is it quite similar training in terms of the resistance training from the off season into the contest prep?
I always like the high intensity, lower to moderate volume approach, whether that's off season or contest prep. I think what builds the muscle is going to keep the muscle. I don't see a huge need to go to very, very high volume in a prep scenario. I think you're just going to be training more like a bitch and losing muscle at that point. And that's what I did in my last prep. And, you know, you just chase a pump towards the end, and there's no pump to chase anyway. So you just kind of just pumping in impossible muscle to pump. But I think training heavy and hard and intense and accurate is number one.
Can you give us an
At all
example?
times.
Can you give us an example, Jake? Like, I mean, you've got some pretty crazy quads on you. What's an off-season quad workout like? And do you just hit them once a week because they're such a strong body part, or do they get touched twice?
Yeah, for the most part, it's one big day of quads and then like a little touch up on the hamstring day, maybe. But a normal quad day for me would be adductors, abductors, just because they're a weak point for me. A leg extension, a leg curl, hack squat, Bulgarian, and then a lunge variation. A Bulgarian and then a calf press variation. Usually that's my quad days, and nothing is really over 3 sets. My hack squats are usually 1, maybe 2 sets if I'm pushing volume. Extensions like 1 or 2 sets. Adductors, maybe 3 sets. Calves 2 sets. It's all pretty standard, and I just try and focus on perfection of the movement and progressively overloading every week. Standardizing the form, I think, is a huge thing that people really undervalue when it comes to training.
And when you say a set, is a working set for you taken to failure? Are there reps in reserve? Are we going beyond failure? Like, just how hard are you going? Because it is fairly low volume.
Yeah, so that'll depend on what kind of phase we're at in terms of food and drugs and all of that, I think, as well. When there's more food there, you can cop the extra volume. But when there's not, I think keeping it a little bit lower volume is the better approach in regards to that.
Was there any focus in the off season to bring up particular body parts? Like, I look at your physique and I think you're incredibly balanced. Like, I think that's your biggest weapon, and it's been that way for quite some time. Was there a specific focus to bring up any particular body parts, or was it just more of the same? I don't know, your classic guy, greater taper. What was the primary focus?
Yeah, the main focus of the off season was definitely the posterior. Bring up that as much as possible. Adductors, chest, just kind of everything, really. I'm still young, so just kind of keep growing. There's nothing. Just not get the quads any bigger. That was the main objective.
And what about the transition with cardio from the off season into the contest prep? Do you keep cardio relatively low in the off season, and does it ramp up much? And where are you at right now with your cardio?
Through my last off season, I was working construction, so I was pretty, active most of the time. I was getting in anywhere from like 12 to 18K steps a day. Even then, I would probably still do at least 45 minutes of cardio a week, just because I like it in the off season. And then during prep, the most cardio we got up to was 100 minutes a week, so 25 minutes 4 times a week. And 14,000 steps was the highest we got to, so it's not been anything too extreme. Mainly just been manipulating the diet more so than anything.
And so you're not in construction anymore. Is that because you're doing PT? Is that right?
So I just recently, within the last 3 weeks, probably 4 or 5 weeks now, kind of lose my sense of time with prep. Probably 5 weeks ago, I've stopped working construction now and just am doing the full-time online and training people and doing all that now. So pretty cool. Love it.
That is pretty cool, Jake. Did you notice that you had to change things? Because I've worked with tradies in the past, and normally their calorie requirements are significantly higher due to their need. Did you have to change a lot of things when you transitioned from construction to online? That's I would imagine, a big shift in energy expenditure.
I was expecting the same, and in my past prep, that was the case as well. I had to up my steps straight away to 18,000 steps from 12,000, just based off the other movement that you're doing throughout the day. But because work was kind of quiet a little bit in this prep, it wasn't so bad. We weren't moving around too much. It wasn't crazy excessive activity. So when I ended up stopping work, we just added in that little extra bit of cardio across the week, dropped the food by 200, 300 calories every day, and we were sweet. And it's just been that much better because my sleep and recovery has been so much more elevated and my cortisol's so much lower. I don't have to stress about being up by a certain time, being in bed by a certain time, as hard as I had to before, because I had to be at work for a certain time or travel time, all this bullshit. But yeah.
Everything you've described about this prep is relatively moderate. Yeah, like, I mean, 1,900 calories is not much for a 100-kilo guy, and is a decent expenditure. But there's no extremes here. How much weight are you pulling off in this prep, and what was the duration of the prep?
I think it has been 22 weeks so far, including the pre-prep. There's 2 or 3 weeks of just cleaning it up. So let's say maybe 20 weeks so far. And I think it'll be about 25, 26 in total by the time America's done and all that kind of stuff. The week before I started prep, I went away down south and just ate a bunch of shit with my family for Easter. And I came back at like 120 on the dot. So before that, I was like 117. So I would say I started prep at 117. So about 20 kilos, just under.
And you're heading into peak week next week. Is that right for your first show? What's the plan there? And are you looking to peak for the Western Australia show, and then also the Nationals, or are you just taking a moderate approach to this first one? What's the game plan?
Yeah, I think it'll be more of a moderate approach for this first one, kind of just cruise into it. We've done a couple trials the last 2 weeks to kind of see what look we like and what we can expect on the day. So it's not going to be anything too crazy, probably 1 day of loading, and that's just after the weigh-in. And that's really it. Nothing too crazy. I think we did like 650 grams of carbs roughly on the day of the trial weigh-in, and woke up the next day the same weight. So we could potentially push it a little bit more. So we'll see. I don't think it'll be anything too crazy.
Sorry. I was watching your training video. You put up all your hamstring training, I think, on your stories, and looking lean, mate, and going through your Instagram photos, like that side shot of your glute hammy tie-in it's amazing. It's like really world class, and especially if you can develop it further. Would you say that is one of your strongest points when you're posing?
I think it is now, but it definitely wasn't in the past. It's just something that I have hammered so hard over the last 2 years. Just bringing up that posterior and, learning how to pose a little bit better. And yeah, that's just something that I've really, really wanted to improve on. And just to me, that is a something that if you're looking at a bodybuilder and they've just got a 6-side leg, it's just disgusting. I love it. That's
Scotty was just saying, mate, speaking of posing, that you got put through a really easy session with Tony, and you said, "Is that all you got?" And you were calling him some names,
in the park.
You want to do a bit of a rematch with Tony for a posing session. Is that right?
Yeah. Coming to Melbourne in a couple of weeks and run it back. No, he absolutely fucking destroyed me. But it was exactly what I needed, man. It was just a really big wake up call in regards to composing myself when posing. I always kind of thought I was a half decent poser, and then I went through these rounds with Tony, and then I was questioning my fucking whole existence. I'm like, I fucking suck. Like, this is no way. And then, I go back home, get a couple posing sessions in with one of the local guys, and the biggest thing for me was just breathing and just staying composed, not squeezing too hard, obviously. You think that you're not squeezing hard, but you're still squeezing too hard. So really just learning where that point is and just playing around with that and just doing more conditioning rounds and vacuums and just round after round after round since I've been home. So been putting in the work.
The reason why I ask, mate, is because most of us have probably been through a Tony Doherty either posing session or training session when we've been up and coming bodybuilders. On this channel, he put me through a holiday workout routine 20 years ago, and it was one of the most ridiculous workouts I've ever had. So Tony certainly enjoys watching you be in pain and suffering as a young upcoming bodybuilder. He likes to stamp his authority. And mate, mine's on camera too. So I think we've all been there. I'm sure Scotty's been there as well.
Man, there's nothing better to me, honestly. There's nothing better. I love that shit. I think that's the coolest part of bodybuilding. That's why we do this, in my opinion.
Mate, I think there was a little bit of personal animosity in there. I'm still questioning it. I was in that posing room with you. That was genuine verbal abuse. I was legitimately like questioning because Tony's daughter Florence works on the front desk. I'm like, Jake's definitely hit on Florence on the way in or something. Like, Tony is getting after him here. It was a hellish posing session.
Really? Okay.
Oh, mate, it was like, yeah, Tony was going hard.
No, that's good. That's good.
But mate, you did take it like an absolute champion. It's probably an interesting position to be in where you do likely receive a lot of positive feedback, and then Tony Doherty, who has seen absolutely everyone and has posed Olympians to his credit, he's not easily impressed. He was impressed by your physique, but yeah, your posing conditioning, he was questioning it also. So you think come stage time you'll be able to deliver the goods?
I'll be fine. It'll be sorted.
Good man. I love it. It was oh mate, I wish did you record that? Was it on video? Because
yeah, I actually just posted it this morning.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's one for the memory books, man. It's really, really cool.
It was a great time. Well, Jake, you mate, you're pretty much at the top of the class, top of your cap. You're a young man. Like, where do you want to go? I mean, obviously, if you can turn pro, then you've got more room to grow. But do you see your future in classic? Because you've probably got the potential to grow a lot more at your age. Do you see yourself ultimately as an open bodybuilder?
Long term, yeah, I think so. I would love to do that. Represent Australia as a fucking big open bodybuilder. I would absolutely love that. I think the goal is to turn pro as a classic guy, compete as a classic guy for a couple years, ideally. Max that out to the absolute most I can, pull off muscle a couple preps if I have to, and then fucking take another 2 years off and just go open. Maybe by the time I'm like 30, I would say I'll probably be open size, hopefully. Competitively, I think.
At the rate you're going, mate, I don't doubt that. So the plan this year is to hit up 2 potential pro qualifiers, the Nationals and Amateur O in Vegas, correct?
Yeah, I cannot wait. I am so excited for America. Very, very keen.
And if you accidentally turn pro in Australia, you just watch the Olympia, I assume?
Yes, and I'll be fat and happy in America, watching everybody else compete. It'll be great.
Have you traveled before? Competing overseas does present some relatively unique challenges. Is Tom coming, or you got a bit of a support network around him?
I've never competed overseas or anything like that. Traveled, yeah, of course, but not competed. I will be going with Josh and Maya and Ethan, which is a blessing. I wouldn't have gone if they didn't, give me the opportunity to go with them, because it would have been too much for me to handle going by myself and doing that, to be honest, by that point. So going with them, they're such great people and they've done it before. They know where to go, what to do. It just takes a lot of the stress out of it. And I just think the memories and the time we're going to have is going to be so much fun. Regardless of the outcome, I don't even care. It's going to be so much fun. So I'm
playing devil's
laughing,
advocate there, Jake. You playing devil's advocate. What happens if you won your pro card? You got the trip booked. Is there any chance you might say, no, look, I'll come back next year? You wouldn't be the first to turn down a pro card, get to compete overseas as an amateur, and you're still progressing with your physique, but you've done an international amateur show.
There's no way I would turn down a pro card. There's no way. If I'm good enough to beat everybody on that day, I'm a pro.
You haven't thought anything beyond that? There's no dreams of pro debuts just yet? I'm assuming you want to tick off the first gold first?
Yeah. That's got to win the first show. Got to win a state show first before I even think about doing all that. but yeah, there's obviously been talks about, you know, if the stars align and all that kind of shit. There is a pro show in Florida while we are in America. So there is the possibility, but I probably wouldn't do it anyway. I'd be done. I just want to enjoy my holiday by that point.
Yeah.
And then do a debut the following year.
Beautiful. Well, Jake, mate, we really appreciate your time. You've been very, very generous with it. I know you're deep in prep. Is there anyone you want to thank or shout out? Everyone should definitely give Jake a follow. It's Jake with a Y, Jayke. I always look it up. I'm like, where is this guy? Yeah, mate. Any shout outs?
Not really. Just shout out Tom and all my support system, my family, my friends, and yeah, but that's really it. I just thank you for all the support throughout this whole prep from everybody, and the support has genuinely been wild, and you know, getting attention from America and all this kind of other stuff is pretty nuts. So just I feel very, very blessed and grateful, and it's fucking awesome. I love this so much, and thanks for having me on, guys. It's been wicked. This is a big thing for me. I watched these guys a lot when I was younger coming up, so it's very cool.
Nice.
Well, we appreciate having you on, Jake. We really do. I will be over at that Perth show. I'll be watching your stage presence very, very carefully, as I'm sure Tony Doherty will as well. I'm no doubt he'll issue you feedback if there's something he wants you to work on between then and nationals. But mate, wish you all the best. I mean, regardless of where you place, win, lose, or draw, you've made some massive, massive and incredibly impressive changes to your physique. So there is no doubt if you continue on this trajectory, you're going to achieve your goals. But thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Luke. Thank you to all those that are listening. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe so that you get notifications when the next episode uploads. That is it from the Max's Muscle TV podcast.